I'm guessing you're here because of the previous episodes that you've watched on bakit hindi pa rin ako pumapayat. And now you've realized that you're not just here to lose weight. Because honestly, you can just go to the moon and lose weight. Nga lang, nakatira ka sa moon. Yo, mga kabayo, what's up, and welcome to Inay, thank you. Our time and space to learn life lessons from lessons about life. Quick disclaimer muna tayo. Pakitignan na lang sa baba. At kapag may nangyari sa inyo, dahil hindi ninyo binasing disclaimer, hindi ko nakasalanan yun. Kasi sino ba yung hindi nagbabasa? Ako naman, nagsabi na ako na may disclaimer, di ba?
Kasi naman mga tao hindi nagbabasa.
And today, we've learned to eat by design, where we learn how to make food choices based on how Mother Nature designed us and the food around us. Ang ating question for the day is, ano bang mga pagkain ang dapat kong iwasan? Kahit ano naman dyan, kung tutusin, basta edible, kakainin natin. Pero may mga pagkain kasi na parang, teka lang, hindi naman talaga dapat natin tong kainin. Or we weren't designed to eat this and neither was the food designed specifically for us. So ano ba yung mga pagkain na yun? Yung pinakamadaling sagot, whatever food that you will not find in nature. Sa madaling salita, pag pumunta ka sa gubat, ilog, dagat, desyerto, hindi mo mahahanap yung mga pagkain na to. Tanongin nyo sarili nyo kung may makikita kayong mga ganitong pagkain na naturally tumutubo doon o nakatira doon o makikita nyo doon. Anything na may arena o gawa sa arena. Tinapay, biskuit, cake, kahit yung mga kakanin natin, traditional sweets, mga puto, kutsinta, so on and so forth. Mga giniling na karne na tinadtad ng mga preservatives at kung ano nung panglasa. So yung mga hotdog, tocino, etc. Sugary drinks, soft drinks, fruit juice, powdered drinks, sina Milo, powdered milk, ready-made sauces, ketchup, Mang Tomas, processed dairy, cheese, ice cream, nut butter, sina peanut butter, cooking oils, and margarine. Ngayon, para sa mga pilosopo dyan, kasi baka naman sabihin ninyo, bakit pag umakit ako sa bundok Banao, ang daming balat ng Skyflakes tsaka instant noodles? Excuse me, kinalat na po yun ng mga tao doon. Pero hindi po tumutubo ang skyflake sa puno. Para lang malinaw po sa lahat, hindi po nanggagaling sa lupa ang pansit canton. Kapag kunyari, piniga mo yung utong ng baka, korneto ba yung lumalabas? Kapag nag-ani ka ng palay, puto ba yung harvest mo? Namitas ka ng kamatis? Ketchup ba yung makukuha mo? Kapag namuti ka ng kakao, M&M's ba yung laman? Ibig sabihin, yung mga ganyang pagkain, they do not exist in nature. Ang tawag sa kanila ay mga ultra-processed foods. Bakit? Lahat naman ng mga yan galing sa nature, right? Yung ketchup naman galing sa kamatis. So, anong masama sa kanila? Pagkain pa rin naman sila, di ba? Kilatisin natin yung mga ganitong klaseng pagkain. At bakit ba natin nasabing hindi sila ideal para sa dieta ng tao? Bakit nga ba ultra-processed ang tawag sa kanila? Ultra-processed foods, they have high amounts of sugars, salts, and fats. And apart from that, may mga additives din sila, preservatives, para tumagal yung pagkain. Ilang buwan na nakalipas, buhay pa yung pagkain, hindi pa siya nabubulok, hindi nasisira. In nature, ang nagpapatakbo sa lahat ng living things is energy. So Mother Nature makes sure na hindi tayo sumusobra sa mga ganitong klaseng pagkain. Super concentrated form of energy is napakahirap talagang hanapin sa nature. They're hard to find, they're hard to get, they're very well protected, difficult to digest, too few or too small, too bulky, or sometimes they are accompanied with poison. I can only think of 4 things perhaps. Yung mga bagay sa nature na talagang pure energy. Una, honey. Yes, honey is straight up sugar. Pero tignan mo naman yung kalbaryo na kailangan mong pagdaanan para lang makakuha ng honey. Una, aakyatin mo yung puno para ma-access mo yung hive. Pwede ka malaglag sa puno kasi hindi mo nakuha yung honey, pwedeng naputol yung sanga. Tapos syempre yung hive, binabantayan pa ng sun, damakmakang bubuyog. It's there in nature, it's natural, but at the same time, it's so hard to get and it's very well protected. Pag-usapan na rin natin kung saan ba nagmumula yung honey, which is nectar or yung tinatawag natin na yung tamis ng bulaklak. Yung bulaklak, walang kalaban-laban, nandyan lang yan. Pero isipin mo na lang gano'ng karaming bulaklak ang susuyurin mo para lang makakuha ka siguro ng isang kutsaritang asukal. Yes, there is pure concentrated sugar inside the flower, but it's a very small amount. Fruits, all natural. Ano naman po natin yan? Yes, it's naturally sweet, but at the same time, it's not always available. Bihira tayo makahanap ng prutas na all year round namumunga yung puno. May mga panapanahon yan, may seasons. Plus, there's only window of time na pwede mo kainin yung prutas. Yung window of time na yun na mahinog siya, that is the time that you can eat the fruit and wow, ang sarap nito. But other than that, if you eat it too early, it's not yet ripe, hindi pa hinog yung prutas. Marami pa siyang mga substances na pwedeng ang makalason or pwedeng hindi siya mabilis tunawin ng katawan mo, pwedeng sumakit yung tiyan mo. Kaya kunyari, yellow pa yung banana, wala pa yung mga brown spots na yun. Ibig sabihin, all the tannins or most of the tannins are still inside the fruit. And when you eat that, that's the weird pakla flavor that you get from the banana. But if you wait a little bit longer na maging brown yung balat, that is a signal for you na pag brown na yung balat, yan na masarap na yung banana. Sugarcane is an example of straight-up energy that is very difficult to digest. Subukan mo bang ngatain at nguyain yung tubo? Baka naman basag-basag na yung ngipin mo. Again, hindi ka pa rin makakuha ng that much sugar. Now, what about fats? Nuts, seeds, grains. So these are examples of natural plant products that have high amounts of fats. Yung mga nuts tulad ng walnut, almond, di ba napakatigas nung kanilang shell. Kailangan talaga mag-effort ka na babasagin mo bago mo makuha. That's why these things are very well protected. They are also seasonal. Hindi naman namumunga ng nuts all year round. So there is that factor of they're very difficult to access and you also have to wait. There are also fat sources from animals. But as we all know, hindi po yan yung nakasiting pretty na parang, eat me. The very defining characteristic of animals, gumagalaw po yan. Trademark, signature behavior ng hayop po yan. Fight or flight. Either mo, pag kinain mo ako, susunggawin kita. Or, tara na, takbo na tayo, kakainin na niya tayo. Yes, there's just concentrated energy inside an animal, but again, hindi po madaling kunin. When nature designs energy availability, she makes sure na hindi tayo sumusobra sa mga ganitong klaseng energy sources, yung mga pure energy halos. Sinadya yun ng nature para nga hindi tayo maging Pero kung matalino si nature, matalino rin naman tayo, di ba? In fact, we've used fertilizers and irrigation, modern agriculture, to plant and to grow crops where they normally would not grow. We've engineered bigger, higher yielding crops. Tanim natin ngayon, mas malalaki ang bunga, mas matatamis. Ganun din para sa mga inaalagaan nating mga hayop, yung mga baka, yung mga baboy, mga manok, mas matataba. We've made machines that can extract fats and sugars from very tough plants. Because of the way that we have manufactured food, now we can create food that has high concentrations of fats and sugars. Ultra-processed foods, or UPFs in general, have a very high surface area to volume ratio. If you take the same object and just crush it into a bajillion pieces, you now expose more of its surface to the world, to the environment. So you increase the surface area. And ultra-processed foods are often like that. What that does is that releases more of the fats, more of the sugars, and more of those nutrients that is now more accessible because more of it is exposed already. Pagka sa loob yan ng katawan mo, mas mabilis na siyang ma-absorb ng katawan mo. If you think about it metaphorically, what ultra-processing does, the machine chews the food for you, spits it back out, and then you eat whatever yung niluwa ng machine na yon. Di ba yung melt in your mouth sensation? Pag kasubo mo, you don't have to chew. Because again, a machine did it for you. Ngayon, bakit mo pinagiling sa makina tapos kakainin mo yung dura niya? Bakit mo ipangunguya sa iba yung pagkain mo? Meron kang panguya ng pagkain, ayan yung ngipin mo. Yung ngipin natin, tagagiling ng pagkain. Yung laway natin, pati yung ating mga gastric juices. Yan ang taga-tunaw ng pagkain. And then pagdating sa bituka, meron tayong taga-absorb ng pagkain. We ourselves are nature's food processing plants. Isipin nyo na lang, sino lang ba ang mga kumakain ng mga pagkain ng inuyanan ng iba o na-process na ng iba? Diba kadalasan mga baby? Milk is actually a naturally processed food. Yung manufacturing plant is the mother. Food that she ate from nature, she digested and got all the nutrients and milk. Ito medyo kadiri. Pero totoo to, alam yung mga koala. Ang kinakain po kasi nila is mga eucalyptus leaves. So yung baby na koala, hindi pa rin niya kayang kumain ng dahon. Kasi anong gagawin niya? Kainin niya yung tae ng nanay. There is a term for people, or no, not people, for the act of eating shit. Yes, there is a term for that. It's called we have an entire food processing plant within us. Why do we need to have the food processed by a machine? Ito, example, gawa tayo ng pound cake. You need 1 pound of flour, 1 pound of sugar, 1 pound of butter, and 1 pound of eggs. It takes them 10 pounds of sugar cane to make 1 pound of sugar. On average, 20 pounds of milk to come up with 1 pound of butter. Now, if you were one of the 18 people who ate the pound cake, if my computations are correct, to get that same amount of sugar, you would have to chew through about 270 grams of sugar cane. Just how much chewing would that take in order for you to get that same amount of sugar na pagsubo mo lang nung cake, look, tapos na. And at the same time, you would have to drink 544 grams of milk. That's half kilo of gatas. That's just one teeny tiny slice of pound cake. That's 1/18 of a slice of pound cake. Whereas, kung kumain ka ng banana, that gives you about 12 grams of sugar and almost no fat. Kung titignan mo yung dami ng banana, halos pareho lang dun sa dami ng maliit na slice ng pound cake na kinain mo. Nabusog ka for less sugar and less fat because that's how nature packages food. Nature makes sure na hindi ka susobra dun sa sugars and fats na yun. Pero ang ginawa natin, we took all of the raw materials and just extracted and concentrated everything and turned it into ultra-processed food. I think the one thing that we learn is that if you have food that has very high amounts of sugars and fats and salts, and then also it has been chewed up by a machine, it's been crushed, so that makes it easily digestible, easily melts in your mouth and can be easily absorbed by your intestines and your internal organs. They're so cheap, they're so readily available. Kahit sa ang tindahan ka pumunta, meron ka makikitang ultra-processed food. And more importantly, they are so fucking delicious. What will happen? You have now a recipe for overdose. When you have a high amount of something, you ingested it and then it's rapidly released into your body. It's rapidly absorbed by your body. That is what overdose is. In our food environment today, we are now having an overdose of sugar and fats. Not that sugars and fats are not healthy. That's not true. They occur, they exist in nature. But the way that they exist in nature, it's nearly impossible for us to overeat these kinds of foods. But the way that we design them now with our technology, we have just made it so easy to overdose on these kinds of foods. And remember, as with all things, it is the dose that makes the poison. So perhaps your next question is, di ano na lang kakainin ko? That is something that we will find out in the next episode of Eat by Design. O paano naman kayo mga kabayo, what life lessons have you learned today? Just leave it in the comments below. And let me know your experiences as well with ultra-processed foods. Ano ba yung mga pagkain na talagang, hindi ko kayang bakawalan kasi sobrang sarap. Pero alam ninyo na they're not designed in nature at all. Nature never meant for food to exist that way. And also, kung may kulang pa po ako sa discussion na to, if there's anything else that you'd like to share, just leave it in the comments below and hopefully we can have something to discuss. That's it, Pansit. Kita-kits, mga bagits. Inay. Thank you.